Imagine being dropped into a literal meat grinder where the only thing cheaper than life is the dirt under your fingernails.
Our protagonist is currently living through a chaotic nightmare of blood and steel, struggling to find a single second of peace amidst the slaughter.
Park Hyun-myung is pushed so far past his limit that every breath feels like a rusty knife is doing a tango on the roof of his mouth. He is exhausted, bleeding, and staring death in the face as the enemy closes in for a final, glorious kill shot.
Just when you think it is game over, the system decides to stop being a hater and activates the heart of the iron-blooded monarch.
Divine powers like Weapon Master flash across his vision in a digital frenzy, but before he can go full god mode, the screen fades to black. Welcome to the glamorous life of a professional loser. In the real world, Hyun-myung is just a pathetic gaming addict staring at a game over screen in a room that probably smells like stale ramen and broken dreams. He has spent 5 years holed up like a hermit, wasting his youth on a single game while everyone else was out there getting jobs and actually touching grass. His life is legendary, but definitely in the worst way possible. The object of his obsession is Pangenia, a legendary game that lured people in with a ridiculous bait line: clear the game, and we will grant your greatest dream. Naturally, every curious soul who tried it ended up failing miserably. 5 years later, the player count has dropped to exactly 0. Hyun-myung is the last man standing in this digital wasteland because the game is so toxic and brutally difficult that even hardcore masochists quit in frustration. Pangenia is famous for being a complete nightmare. Bosses one-shot you, companions will stab you in the back for a nickel, and named NPCs will hunt you down like a dog if you even look at them wrong. But the real kicker? Permanent character deletion. If you die once, you lose everything and have to start from scratch. It is a truly insane system designed by developers who clearly chose violence as their personality trait. After his latest high-level character bites the dust, Hyun-myung gets a notification that nearly stops his heart. He is awarded a staggering 1.6 million soul points, a massive windfall likely caused by the ultra-rare items he was carrying. Soul points are the currency of reincarnation in this hellscape. They let you invest in talents for your next run, making the growth curve a lot less suicidal. With this many points, our boy is basically a walking cheat code.
He realizes that with 1.6 million points he can max out every single talent in the game.
Normally, he would play it safe with magic, but since he is planning to delete the game after this, he decides to go out with a bang.
This is his first and last time to actually enjoy the game before he moves on with his life.
He prepares to dump every single point into a random character creation, not caring about the consequences for once. We finally see why he is such a mess. 3 months ago, his girlfriend of 5 years dumped him right in the middle of a cafe. She basically told him he was a man with zero future and she needed someone who could actually provide a life. The humiliation of being compared to successful peers was the final nail in the coffin.
After she walked out, he quit his dead-end job in a fit of rage and locked himself in his room to drown his sorrows in pixels.
He has spent every waking hour since then as a complete gaming addict, fueled by anger and the need to escape his pathetic reality. But today, the cycle of self-pity is finally going to break in the most literal way possible. As he starts rearranging his stats, a notification for a hidden piece pops up. He is invited to the true world of Pangenia, and before he can even process what that means, a blinding light consumes his entire room. A mysterious voice echoes in his head, yapping about creation and destruction while his consciousness slips away. The boundary between reality and the game is being shredded as he is yanked out of his boring life.
He wakes up to the sharp sting of a whip and a guard screaming in his face.
He is being called a useless slave and ordered to get back in formation unless he wants to be fed to a monster called a Hydreigon. Confused and terrified, he looks around to see a literal Hydreigon lurking nearby.
The harsh desert landscape and the presence of such a beast confirm his worst fear. He is actually inside the game world now.
He tentatively calls out for his status window, and it actually manifests in the air. His stats are all set to 12, which is insane for a starter, and he has a massive list of talents that would make any pro gamer weep with envy. He discovers he possesses 13 different hidden traits, including Weapon Master and Great Sage. He is a literal mutant in this system, but he also notices a destruction progress meter at 6%, which sounds like bad news. The peace is shattered when the Desert Queen's army launches a surprise attack, breaking their treaty and turning the area into a slaughterhouse. A main quest window appears with a single, grim objective: survive. The system warns him that failing this quest means death in both the game and reality.
As slaves around him are being turned into pincushions by arrows, his heart of the iron-blooded monarch trait surges to life again.
His fear is replaced by a cold, calculating focus.
He realizes that staying still is a death sentence, so he starts moving through the chaos, his senses sharpened to a razor edge by his legendary traits.
With Weapon Master active, he grabs a fallen sword and prepares to fight his way out of the massacre. The legendary gamer is finally playing for real, and he is about to show this world why he was the only one left standing in the game. Imagine being a low-level slave and suddenly moving like a god-tier warrior.
Our boy is out here dodging spears and swinging blades like he's been doing it for a century, leaving these fodder enemies wondering if they accidentally pulled a raid boss.
Even though it is his first time holding this specific weapon, he handles it with the grace of a master. It turns out his hidden trait, Masterful Hands, is absolutely broken, allowing him to read every enemy movement with terrifying precision. The battlefield is a complete mess, but for our MC, everything is moving in slow motion. He is not just surviving, he is dissecting his enemies while his brain processes data like a supercomputer on steroids. Every time a sword swings his way, he sees the trajectory before the blade even moves. It is like he is playing with a cheat code active, and honestly, seeing these arrogant guards get clapped by a slave is the level of pettiness I live for.
Within minutes of this bloody dance, his proficiency in both swords and spears hits level 6.
That is legendary knight status, folks. Most people train for decades to reach this level, but our boy just needed a single afternoon of violence. Despite the power-up, the situation is still looking like a straight-up nightmare. He is currently surrounded by over 500 troops who definitely did not come here to share a meal. Talk about a difficulty spike from hell. He is literally cursing the developers of this world because the survival quest is pure trash. Even with his god-tier skills, fighting 500 people at once is a suicide mission, and the miracle he needs is nowhere in sight. Meanwhile, in the desert city of Faisalmer, we have got some high-level snakes plotting a cover-up. These cowards missed a failed expedition and now they want to delete every survivor in the Kaltzman Desert just to save their own skin. The leaders are terrified of being blamed by the central continent, so they send in their big gun. The Snake Princess is ordered to eliminate all stragglers, which means our MC is about to have a very bad day.
This princess is not just any fighter. She is a cold-blooded assassin with a personal stake in this mess. If she finishes this job, her own curse gets lifted. So you know she is going to be extra thirsty for blood. Back at the bloodbath, the MC finally hits level 2, which is basically a full health and mana potion in human form.
Just as he catches his breath, the real boss music starts playing because Isabella von Dershen has officially entered the chat. She is a level 8 powerhouse, and in this world, level 7 is the wall that separates the strong from the gods. Facing her is basically a death sentence, and her red flag energy is radiating off the charts. The gap between level 2 and level 8 is so wide it is basically a canyon.
Most people would be crying for their mama right now, but our gamer MC is busy searching for a glitch in the matrix to keep his head on his shoulders.
Isabella is ready to end his existence right then and there, but our boy decides to pull the ultimate wait, I can explain move. Instead of begging, he looks her dead in the eye and asks if she wants to be free from her curse. He starts yapping about being a star bearer, a mysterious being who can lead people to their destiny. It is a massive gamble, but when you are facing a level 8 psycho, you might as well lie like your life depends on it, because it does. This star bearer class is actually an NPC-only role needed to break the level cap, so his bluff is incredibly specific. He is betting everything that Isabella is desperate enough to fall for this holy man act.
Then comes the real shocker. He realizes Isabella is a character he personally created back in his gaming days.
He abandoned her because she was stuck behind a map-locking curse, and now he is literally facing his own neglected waifu. He adopts the name Randolph to complete the persona, and against all odds, the Snake Princess is actually intrigued. She postpones the execution and tells her goons to treat him like an honored guest. Quest complete, baby. The system is absolutely glazing him now, handing out record-breaking rewards for his survival. He lands the soul of the Hydreigon and the sword of Michaela, items so rare that most players would sell their firstborn just to see them. He also picks up a mysterious artifact called the broken piece of the golden scale. It talks about synchronization between reality and the game, which sounds like some serious endgame lore that he is not quite ready for yet. Now he is being pampered in a palace, attended by chambermaids who are clearly trying to test his resolve. But since he is supposed to be a holy star bearer, he has to act like he is allergic to women to keep the act alive. While soaking in a bath and dodging the maids' advances, he checks the Hall of Fame. He is ranked first in the world, but the news gets worse. The game world is starting to bleed into reality, and the boundary is at a critical 7%. He sees other top-tier players in the rankings, like Gracia and someone named I Love Mint Chocolate. It hits him like a truck. He is not the only one trapped in this digital hellscape, and the world is falling apart. Because of his rank, he finally unlocks the logout feature, but there is a massive catch. His character remains in the world while he is gone, and if his body gets killed while he is logged out, he dies for real. No pressure, right? He uses the star communication excuse to kick everyone out of his room so he can finally escape. He hits that logout button faster than a simp hitting a donate button, praying that the real world is still normal.
He wakes up in his room, but the relief lasts for about 2 seconds.
Instead of silence, he hears the screams of people and the wailing of sirens outside.
His phone is blowing up with emergency alerts telling everyone to run for their lives. He looks out his window and sees a literal nightmare. Panginia's monsters are actually roaming the streets of Seoul, turning the city into a buffet. The game didn't just summon him, it brought the entire apocalypse along for the ride.
Seeing a giant mantis monster munching on civilians is enough to make anyone lose their mind. Reality is officially broken, and our boy realizes that his struggle for survival in the game was just a warm-up for the horror show on his doorstep.
The sky is glowing with ominous energy as more creatures pour out of the rifts. This is not a drill, and there is no pause button. RMC is the only one with the stats to fight back, but can he even save himself when the world is ending? He stands at his window, watching the chaos unfold with a mix of terror and grim determination. The golden scale in his hand is the only thing that proves this isn't a dream, and honestly, the real world just became a lot more dangerous than the desert. The chambermaids in the game were a test, but the monsters in Seoul are the final exam. He's got the legendary gear and the skills, but he's currently in his pajamas while the world burns. It is time to see if a star bearer can actually save reality.
Every alert on his phone is a reminder that the boundary between worlds is shattering faster.
If he doesn't act now, there won't be a reality to log back into. The gamer pervert is officially the world's last hope.
He looks at the usernames of the other players again, wondering if they are seeing the same carnage in their own cities.
This is a global server of death, and the raid has just begun in the most literal way possible. He prepares himself to step out into the burning streets, knowing that one wrong move means permanent game over. The transition from slave to savior is moving at light speed, and the real fight starts now.
The logout warning flashes in his mind like a death sentence.
He has to protect his physical body and his game avatar simultaneously. It's the ultimate multitasking challenge, and the stakes are literally everything.
As a giant mantis monster spots him through the window, he realizes there's no more time for thinking.
The game is real, the monsters are hungry, and the snake princess is the least of his worries now. The emergency messages keep flooding in, but he tosses the phone aside. He needs to find a way to bring his game powers into this world before Seoul becomes one giant graveyard. He looks at the golden scale one last time as the creature lunges. The synchronization is complete, and the era of Panginia has officially begun on Earth. Welcome to the real endgame, folks.
Imagine waking up in your crusty room, thinking that being a slave in a hellish fantasy world was just a bad dream.
Our boy Hyun Myung is out here desperately gaslighting himself into believing he just gamed too hard. He is checking his fan and his bed like they are holy relics, but the vibe is already ruined. You can practically smell the sweat and desperation as he tries to convince himself this is just reality and not some twisted Isekai prank.
Too bad for him, because the universe loves a good tragedy.
He sees his status window still chilling in midair and finds a literal golden shard on his desk. Surprise! Those slave pits were 100% real, and his peaceful life just got a massive red flag. He tries to go to the game homepage to see if the devs are trolling, but it is a total 404 error.
The digital world just ghosted the entire internet, and Hyunmyeong realizes he is officially stuck in a survival horror story without a manual.
Suddenly, the neighborhood goes from quiet to a literal slaughterhouse.
People are screaming because actual monsters are spawning in the streets.
Seeing a giant mantis turn a local resident into a snack is definitely not the Monday morning he planned for. The cops are out here trying to shoot these things with pebbles, bullets, and it is doing absolutely nothing. A nationwide emergency alert pops up on his phone, confirming that the entire country is basically becoming a buffet for Panginia monsters. Hyunmyeong looks at the system window and sees the destruction progress is sitting at over 7%. Once that counter hits 10, the boundary between worlds is going to shatter like a cheap glass, and Earth will officially become a DLC map for hell.
He realizes his real-world body is basically a level 1 mob compared to these freaks.
He starts panic scrolling through his inventory, hoping he did not sell all his good loot for pocket change back in the game.
He finds Michaela's sword and the Hydragon's soul, but they are just glowing icons for now. He needs a bridge, and he finds it in the fragment of the broken golden scale. This is his literal get-out-of-jail-free card. The item description says it allows for 24 hours of synchronization. Basically, he can temporarily download his god-tier avatar into his weak human body. It is time to stop being a victim and start being the main character. The sync with Randolph begins, and the transformation is glorious. You can see the pure, main character energy radiating off him as his stats finally align with reality. The slave Hyunmyeong is dead, the legend is back. Cut to the streets where a mother and her daughter are running for their lives. It is the classic helpless civilians trope, and they are about to be cornered by a monster that does not care about their tragic backstory. Mom is trying to be a hero, telling her kid everything will be fine while giant chunks of buildings are falling like rain. The mantis monster is looming over them, and it looks like it is about to be a very short series for these two. The monster pins them down, and the mom is basically begging for a miracle. She is literally at death's door, and the mantis is ready to serve up a double kill. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a legendary sword.
Just when you think it is game over, someone else enters the chat.
A business lady tries to help, but she is just another victim in waiting. These monsters are immune to everything humans have, and the despair is setting in. The mantis opens its disgusting maw to finish them off. The mom is saying her final goodbyes, and the kid is traumatized for life. It is the perfect moment for a high-level player to show off and steal the spotlight. Boom! A flash of light and a massive shockwave hit the scene. Hyunmyeong, now fully synchronized as Randolph, drops in like a tactical nuke. He does not just save them, he makes it look like the monster was the one who should have been running. With one single, savage swing of his sword, he turns that terrifying mantis into a pile of green goo. His eyes are glowing with that "don't mess with me" blue light, and he looks absolutely bored with how easy that was. The mom and daughter are staring at him like he is a god. Randolph just stands there looking edgy and cool while the world literally burns around him. He is not here to give hugs, he is here to stack bodies and survive. He senses more trash mobs approaching and does not even flinch. He is basically a walking cheat code at this point.
The business lady is wondering who this mystery man is, but she is too busy being a simp for his combat skills to ask.
Another monster tries to sneak up on him, but Randolph just deletes it from existence. He is moving so fast the human eye can't even track him. It is official, the apocalypse has met its match, and he has a sword. Then he pulls the ultimate flex. He summons a 9-headed dragon mount just to stand on its head and look down on the city. If you ever wanted to know what peak performance looks like, this is it. The girl is asking if she is dreaming, and honestly, can you blame her? Her savior is riding a hydra through downtown Korea. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is getting absolutely wrecked by monsters because they don't have a Randolph. We see the Eiffel Tower and other landmarks falling. Human civilization is basically a sandcastle in a hurricane right now. Guns are useless, and the only things that can kill these monsters are players who synchronize their characters. But not all players are nice guys. Some of them are total psychos who are using this chaos to live out their villain fantasies. We see other warriors cutting down monsters, but their vibes are definitely red flag material. These new heroes are claiming they will protect everyone, but it is mostly for the clout and the loot. The world is changing faster than a speedrunner, and the old rules of society are officially in the trash.
Enter Massacre, a top-tier player who thinks he is the king of the world.
He is watching the news and mocking the players who are wasting their golden scale fragments on saving worthless civilians. He is the definition of an edgy gamer. The global rankings finally update, and Massacre gets a reality check. He is sitting at 5th place, while our boy Randolph is at number 1 with a score of 220 points.
The salt is real, and the gaming community is losing its mind.
Everyone remembers the legend of the Phantom or Ghost. He was the only one insane enough to form a Demon Realm expedition. Even though it failed, he is undeniably the strongest player to ever touch the game.
Hyunmyeong realizes that while his gear was reset, his insane talents carried over.
That is why he is so much stronger than the other high rankers. He is out here playing chess while they are playing checkers. He takes a moment to chill in a bath and reflect on his past.
He realizes that the NPCs who betrayed him during his final quest might have actually been other players who were scared of him clearing the game.
The plot thickens. He can't just hide after logging out anymore because the worlds are merging. If he wants to stay safe, he has to become so powerful that neither monsters nor jealous players can touch him. It is time to grind like his life depends on it, because it does. He gets out of the tub looking shredded and ready for war. He is done playing the victim and is embracing his role as the top-ranked monster slayer. No more hiding, it is time for some high-stakes violence. He goes back to Isabella and tells her that his talk with the stars is finished. He is ready to keep his promise, and Isabella looks like she is either impressed or terrified. Probably both, honestly. He has one condition for her: she needs to take him to the sanctuary. Isabella's eyes go wide because that place is basically a suicide mission, but Randolph does not do easy mode. A new main quest triggers to obtain a class. He knows there is a star waiting for him at the sanctuary that will give him the evolution he needs. The era of chaos is just starting, and Randolph is ready to lead the pack. You know things are getting spicy when the floor is painted red and our girl Isabella is out here doing the Lord's work. She wiped out an entire squad of guards in minutes like she was taking out the trash, and honestly, we love a queen who does not hesitate to catch a body. After the massacre, Randolph drops a bombshell that has Isabella looking like she just saw a ghost.
He wants her to lead him straight into the depths of the sanctuary, and she thinks he has finally lost the few marbles he had left.
But Randolph is playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. He is hunting for the second main quest reward, a legendary class tied to the 4th star, and apparently, he is the only one who knows exactly where this treasure is buried.
He hits her with the ultimate leverage, telling her that obtaining this star is the only way to lift her curse.
Isabella is trapped between her fear of the ruins and her desperate need to be free, and you can tell she is starting to realize this level 2 newbie is way more dangerous than he looks. They finally reach the holy ground, and a system starts screaming at them like a toxic ex.
Randolph gets the official notification that they have entered the hidden sanctuary, and a subquest pops up promising rewards for anyone brave enough to explore this nightmare. The system is literally throwing red flags everywhere, warning him about lethal poison and demonic energy. Any normal level 2 player would have melted into a puddle by now, but Randolph is just vibing thanks to his giant is demon resistance trait. While Isabella is stressing out, Randolph is calculating the loot. He knows the class change quest is waiting just ahead, and he is not about to let a little thing like certain death stop him from becoming the ultimate gamer.
As they navigate the ruins, Isabella starts getting turned around and thinks they are lost.
She is supposed to be the pro here, but she almost walks right into a bridge trap that would have swept her away with deadly air currents if Randolph had not stopped her. Our snake princess is officially rattled. To hide the fact that she is shaking in her boots, she makes up a hilarious excuse about having a leg cramp. Girl, please, we all know you are just scared of the dark. Randolph sees through her act immediately and decides to be a gentleman, or maybe he just wants to move faster. He tells her to get on his back because they do not have time for her to be timid while the Queen's pursuit team is closing in. Isabella is fuming that this low-level brat is treating her like a damsel in distress, but with the dead guards about to be discovered at dawn, she has to swallow her pride and take the piggyback ride. Randolph starts running toward a literal void, and Isabella is probably reconsidering every life choice that led her to this moment. It looks like a suicide jump, but Randolph has an ace up his sleeve that no one else can see. He activates his mutant trait, and suddenly the world changes. His eyes start glowing, and he spots an invisible path hidden from human sight, proving once again that he is basically a walking cheat code. Isabella is absolutely baffled. She is a high-ranking official of Faisalmare, and even she did not know about this secret route.
She starts watching him closely, noticing he is not even gasping for breath despite the demonic energy thick enough to choke a horse. Randolph even has the audacity to mock her fear of heights while they are literally walking on air.
He is so relaxed it is insulting, making Isabella wonder if this man is actually a level 2 player or just a god in disguise.
She finally asks the big question, have they met before?
Randolph gives her a cryptic answer that would make any mystery protagonist proud, claiming he has seen her many times, even if she has never laid eyes on him.
They finally approach a massive domain barrier that guards the inner sanctum. The air is heavy with power, and it is clear that the real challenge is just beginning. Randolph is ready to claim his destiny, no matter what stands in his way.
The scenery shifts into a beautiful but deadly landscape, and Randolph is already thinking about his next move.
His memory is perfect, and he knows exactly what horror is about to crawl out of the shadows to test them. Right on cue, a massive upper-tier golem emerges as the guardian of the path. This thing is a walking mountain of stone and runes, and one touch from its fist would turn Randolph into a red smudge on the grass. Isabella does not wait for an invitation. She leaps into action, showing exactly why she is a level 8 assassin. She is moving so fast the golem cannot even track her, and Randolph is just sitting back with a front row seat to the carnage. It is a total mismatch. Isabella is dismantling the stone giant like it is made of Lego bricks.
She is a whirlwind of blades and bloodlust, and it is honestly kind of terrifying to see what she can do when she is not complaining about leg cramps.
The golem gets absolutely wrecked, shattered into pieces by Isabella's final strike. Randolph is impressed, but he is also smug because he is the one who raised this character to be such a monster in the first place. As the dust settles, the system offers Randolph the chance to acquire the Golem Maker class.
It is a high-tier summoner role that most players would kill for, but our boy just hits the decline button without a second thought.
He is not here for some mid-tier rock-throwing class. He is hunting for something much bigger, and the ground starts shaking as the true master of the sanctuary decides to show up and ruin their day.
The ancient King Dramit, a greater god who guards the stars, rises from the earth with a rage that could level a city.
He is not happy about intruders, and he is looking directly at our two heroes with murder in his eyes.
The system is basically screaming at Randolph to run for his life, warning him that he is severely underleveled for a level 10 boss fight.
But instead of running, Randolph just stares back, ready to face the god he needs to unlock his true power. It is the ultimate cliffhanger. A level 2 player versus a literal god in a battle for the stars. Randolph is either the bravest man alive or the biggest idiot in history, and we are all just here to see if he survives the next 5 seconds.
Imagine walking into a boss room and seeing an oversized lizard that thinks it is a god.
Randolph is face to face with the ancient King Dramit, and the vibe is definitely not friendly.
The system is literally screaming at him that he is too weak to be here, but Randolph is just standing there soaking in the overwhelming pressure like it is a spa day. Randolph remembers this guy as a friendly guide from his past life, but current Dramit clearly missed his morning coffee and decides to choose violence instead. Dramit is not playing around, demanding they prove their worth or die.
Isabella is out here doing backflips just to stay alive while our boy Randolph is just calculating his next move. This snake is a total red flag, threatening to end them because they are weaklings.
Randolph realizes that being level 1 is a major disrespect in the eyes of a mountain guardian.
Isabella is struggling because the sanctuary's poison is turning her into a statue.
She is panicking, but Randolph has that "I have a cheat code" look on his face again.
The guardian is ready to squash them like bugs, but Randolph steps forward and drops the ultimate conversation stopper. He calls the beast by its true name, Dramit. Everything stops.
You can practically hear the record scratch as Dramit wonders how this random human knows his secret identity.
Randolph is playing 4D chess while the snake is playing checkers. Randolph claims his former master, Wilhelm, has returned. Dramit is looking at him like he is insane because everyone knows Wilhelm met a messy end in the demon realm. The snake is skeptical, mocking the idea that this weakling could be the legendary hero.
He thinks Wilhelm's stars fell and his soul was extinguished, but Randolph just smirks.
Isabella is huffing and puffing on the ground, completely paralyzed by the poison.
She thinks Randolph has finally lost his mind by provoking a literal god.
Randolph brings up the secret divine contract. This is top-tier gossip that only the master of the mountain should know. Dramit is shook to his very scales. Usually, revealing this contract means instant death from a curse, but Randolph is chilling. Since he is in Randolph's body and not Wilhelm's, the system's fine print is working in his favor. Dramit is laughing like a maniac now, deciding to lead this arrogant brat to the star. He is secretly hoping the holy object will turn Randolph into a human marshmallow. They reach the altar, and it is not a glowing orb. It is a skull. Specifically, a fragment of the dead goddess Leah. This is some dark, edgy lore right here. These fragments are what players use to transcend, but they come with a lethal fire.
Isabella is screaming for him to stop, thinking he is about to become a crispy snack.
Randolph knows the secret: the star only kills people who try to use glitches to skip the guardian. Since he legitimately walked in with Dramit, he is basically immune. As he touches the skull, his mana starts exploding into star energy. This is the moment where the local nobody becomes a literal protagonist god. The system starts listing his traits like a shopping list of legends: masterful hands, weapon master, beast lord. It is basically a flex on the entire world. He officially acquires the class Star Successor. His stats are through the roof, and he even gets a new skill called Star Pierce. The power creep is real, folks. Isabella is staring with her jaw on the floor. Randolph turns to her and offers to lift her curse on one condition: she has to be his personal servant for a year. Talk about a power move. Isabella accepts the deal because, let us be honest, she does not have a choice. Now Randolph has a legendary assassin as his personal assistant.
Simps everywhere are crying.
With his new authority, Randolph looks at the giant, terrifying snake and tells him to bow his head. The disrespect is legendary, and Dramit has no choice but to obey. The Hall of Fame is updated with a unique score that would make any pro player jealous. Our boy just broke the game's ranking system without breaking a sweat.
Just when they think they can catch a breath, the Queen's Pursuit team shows up.
These guys really picked the worst possible time to try and seize the new master of the mountain. The soldiers are surrounding them, looking all tough and intimidating. They have no idea they are about to face a guy who just tamed a god-tier snake and absorbed a goddess's skull. The tension is thick enough to cut with a dagger. Randolph is standing there looking completely unbothered while Isabella prepares to show them why you do not mess with her new boss. Randolph's eyes are glowing with that "you guys are so dead" energy. He is ready to test out his new Star Successor powers on these unsuspecting goons. The chapter ends with the ultimate cliffhanger. The pursuit team is moving in, but Randolph is just getting started.
If you thought the snake was in trouble, just wait until you see what happens to these guys.
Every single combat constellation in the sky is now watching Randolph. He is not just a player anymore, he is a Star Successor, and the world is about to find out exactly what that means. The mana conversion is complete, and the sheer aura Randolph is giving off is enough to make the air vibrate.
The Queen's men are about to realize they brought knives to a nuke fight.
Isabella is watching her master with a mix of awe and terror.
She realized she did not just sign up to serve a hero. She signed up to serve a monster in human skin.
Randolph commands the mountain to acknowledge its new master. The ground shakes as the sanctuary itself bows to his will. The Queen's team is literally shaking in their boots. As the soldiers prepare to strike, Randolph just sighs. He is bored of these minor villains already. It is time to show them the true power of a 5-star transcendent. The deal is sealed, the Guardian is humbled, and the star is absorbed. Randolph is now the most dangerous man in the desert, and he is just getting warmed up.
Isabella looks at the bloodline of the Dershan family she was searching for, realizing that following Randolph might be her only way to actually find them.
Randolph smirks as it all. He has the girl, the snake, and the god-tier class. The Queen's team is just the first course in a very long revenge banquet. Dramat is sweating as he watches his new master.
He realized that calling him a brat was the biggest mistake of his immortal life.
Bow your head, indeed. The final panel shows Randolph standing tall over the kneeling Guardian. He is the master of the mountain now, and anyone who disagrees is about to be star-pierced into oblivion. The Hall of Fame score of 230 points flashes one last time. It is a record that will never be broken, set by a man who refuses to follow the rules of life or death. Sees them? The Queen's team has a lot of confidence for people who are about to become experience points. Stay tuned, because the real slaughter is about to begin. Our boy Randolph is officially out here treating ancient guardians like common pets. He looks at this massive serpent Dramat and tells him to bow his head because there is a new boss in town, and he is not taking no for an answer.
The system is absolutely losing its mind, calculating a unique score of 230 points for Quest 2.
This updates the Global Hall of Fame and sends chills down everyone's spine because a new monster just hijacked the top of the leaderboard. In the real world, elite players are having a total meltdown over the news.
They realize that the legendary 5-year veteran ghost player, Phantom, has finally appeared under the name Randolph, and he is already breaking the game balance.
Top guilds are desperately trying to find him, but tracking a ghost is basically impossible. They decide to try a toxic little tactic called phishing, hoping to lure him into a trap using the newly opened secret auction hall. The plan is simple but dirty. They list a high-quality item for dirt cheap and attach a location-tracking talisman to the buyer. If our protagonist is a gear-hungry simp, he is going to get tracked, robbed, or killed.
Some players think a pro like Phantom would never fall for such a basic bait, but others are betting on his decisive nature.
They are not just looking to recruit him, they are ready to kidnap him if that is what it takes to get him in their guild.
Look at this girl with the pink hair absolutely losing her mind over Phantom.
She is basically his #1 fangirl now, claiming that if you even try to challenge him, you are already dead. Talk about an obsessive red flag.
The ranking shift is catastrophic for the old guard who thought they were safe.
Randolph is sitting pretty at #1, leaving legendary players like Gracia and Menchaco in the dust while the entire hierarchy gets flipped upside down. This shift causes a player named Massacre to lose his ranking rights and his access to the auction.
You can see the pure rage in his eyes as he decides that killing the top players is the only way to regain his status.
Massacre is out here leaving a trail of bodies, convinced that as long as he clears out the competition, he will rise back up. He is a total psycho who does not care who has to die for his ranking points. Meanwhile, Randolph hits a 100% exploration rate for the Desert Sanctuary. He gets the Conqueror title and an epic grade teleport book, which is basically a cheat code for moving around Pangaea whenever he wants.
He finally hits level 3, which sounds low until you realize his progression is 10 times slower than a normal player.
Why? Because he has so many talents that the system demands an insane amount of experience for every single level. Despite the slow grind, his stats are absolutely cracked. Every single attribute is at 36 points, making him a low-level god. He is playing a completely different game than everyone else and he knows it. He checks out his new Shadow Cloak, which is basically a permanent stealth skill. He can turn invisible whenever he wants, which is perfect for a guy who is already being targeted by every major guild in existence. The peace is ruined when Isabella warns him that the Queen's pursuit squad is closing in on their location. Randolph stays cool and decides to use Dramit as a meat shield while they make a run for it. Isabella is confused by the decision, but Randolph explains that the serpent cannot leave the sanctuary anyway. It is better to let the big guy do his job while they head for the warp gate at the edge of the desert. He tells Dramit to do his job and hold the line against the intruders. It is a cold move, but in a survival game, you do not win by being nice to the monsters you just enslaved to your will. They are sprinting through the ruins while the advance unit of the pursuit squad arrives. If they get stalled here for even a second, they are going to be surrounded and slaughtered by the main force. The real problem is that the warp gate needs half a day to activate. They are sitting ducks in the middle of a desert, but Randolph has a plan that involves a little trip back to the real world to check the news. Isabella vows to protect his body while he is unconscious, not knowing he is actually logging out of the system. He needs to check the status of reality before things get even more chaotic between the two worlds. As he logs out, Isabella stands guard with her blade ready. She is fully committed to her master, even if he is just a guy in his underwear back in a messy apartment right now. Back in his real body, Hyun-myung feels the disorientation of the shift from a hero to a regular guy. He is relieved that the monsters have not started appearing in his neighborhood yet, but the clock is ticking. Panginia's destruction progress is at 7.66%. Once it hits 10, the first fissure opens and reality becomes a nightmare. He knows he has to keep gathering info to stay ahead of the other players. Suddenly, he gets a call from his gold-digging ex-girlfriend, Kim Seoyeon. She is currently fighting with her new boyfriend over money and decides to crawl back to Hyun-myung because she is clearly out of options. She is a total piece of work, acting cheap and desperate while trying to manipulate him. She meets him at a cafe and is shocked to see that he actually looks fit and has a completely different vibe now.
She tries to play the regret card, saying she realized how good he was after they broke up.
It is the most overused trope in history, and Hyun-myung is not buying a single word of her fake apology.
Look at her trying to be cute while she is probably thinking about his bank account. She thinks he is still the same pathetic guy who will do anything she says, but she is about to get a massive reality check.
She did not even buy him a drink after calling him there for an urgent talk. Hyun-myung calls her out on her nonsense, roasting her for still having photos of her new boyfriend on social media while trying to flirt. He stands up to leave, leaving her stuttering like an idiot in the middle of the cafe.
He is strangely calm because he realizes that his growth in the game is actually making him a beast in real life too.
The system confirms it with a real-world level-up notification. Randolph's power is bleeding into reality, and our boy is finally becoming the alpha he was always meant to be. The drama escalates when Seoyeon's insecure boyfriend shows up and starts getting violent in public.
He thinks he can bully people and enjoy the show, but he has no idea who he is messing with.
Hyun-myung steps in and grabs the guy's arm like it is a toothpick.
The look of pure shock on the bully's face is priceless as he realizes his victim is actually a superhuman now.
He puts an end to the harassment with zero effort, holding the guy down. The era of being a pushover is officially over, and the world is about to find out that Phantom does not play around. Imagine being such a bottom-tier loser that you try to assault a woman in broad daylight. Our boy Hyun-myung isn't having any of it and grabs this creep's wrist with a grip that says, "I have been grinding in another dimension while you were busy being a total waste of space."
Even without his fancy game items, Hyun-myung realizes his real-life body has been permanently upgraded. He is basically a human nutcracker now, and he tosses the assailant aside like last week's trash while wondering why the girl he saved looks so familiar.
The woman is practically shaking, thanking him for saving her life. Hyun-myung gets a massive case of déjà vu, realizing she is the same woman from his previous encounters, but he doesn't have time for a romantic subplot just yet. Of course, the trash-tier villain can't just stay down. He lunges back for round 2, but Hyun-myung dodges him with the grace of a pro gamer avoiding a lag spike. RMC is playing on a completely different level of physics now. Before Hyun-myung can finish the job, he slams the guy's head into the pavement with a satisfying crunch.
It is the kind of justice that makes you want to stand up and cheer, but local authorities are about to ruin the vibe.
The police arrive and, instead of giving our hero a medal, they decide to take him to the station for questioning. They are really out here trying to arrest the man who just stopped a stabbing, proving that common sense is a rare drop in this world. Hyunmyeong is stressed because his clock is ticking and he needs to get back to the game. He tells them he really doesn't have time for their paperwork, but the cops are acting like NPCs with a fixed dialogue tree until a new player enters the chat. Enter Kim Hannah, a reporter from a major network who isn't afraid to flex her press pass. She roasts the officers for harassing a hero and threatens to make them the lead story on the evening news if they don't let him go. The crowd finally starts using their brains, recognizing Hyunmyeong as the mysterious guy from that viral YouTube video where he saved a kid from a monster.
Suddenly, the cops realize they are about to become the most hated people on the internet and back off.
Hannah hands over her business card, revealing she covers Dimension Warriors. That is the fancy name the public gave to players who fought the monsters, and she is clearly thirsty for an exclusive interview with the strongest one she has ever seen. Hyunmyeong finds it hilarious that the public would rather believe in an interdimensional alien attack than a video game turning into reality. Nobody is saying the word Pangenia out loud yet, which suits our MC just fine while he keeps his secrets. Just when things are looking up, his toxic ex-girlfriend Seoyeon rushes over, pretending to be concerned. This girl has more red flags than a parade in Moscow, and she is clearly trying to cling to his newfound fame after dumping him for being a nobody. Hyunmyeong gives her the ultimate cold shoulder, ignoring her existence entirely while he chats with the reporter. He agrees to a dinner date with Hannah, leaving his ex-girlfriend fuming in the background like the irrelevant side character she is.
Seoyeon is absolutely losing her mind, realizing the man she threw away is now a national hero.
Meanwhile, Hannah gets a call about a high-profile assignment to interview Gracia, a superstar player from America who is currently the world's biggest deal. As the reality drama settles, we get a glimpse of Gracia, who looks like a literal god descending on the city. But the real action is back in the game world, where Randolph is finally waking up from his star communication nap. Randolph returns to find Isabella looking like she just went 10 rounds with a blender. She has been holding off a whole pursuit squad from the Queen, proving she is the ultimate loyal companion even when the odds are suicide level high. The pursuit squad leader is a total egomaniac, demanding that Isabella hand over the slave behind her.
They really think they can bully a star-bearer's partner, but they are about to learn a very expensive lesson in power scaling.
Randolph isn't even breaking a sweat. He initiates a warp sequence, casually mentioning that warping from a starting point is completely free of charge. He thanks Isabella for keeping her promise, and you can tell he is about to unleash absolute hell. To clear the path, Randolph activates his exclusive skill, Star Pierce. This isn't just a regular attack, it is a concentrated beam of Get Wrecked that consumes all his star energy to turn his enemies into literal stardust. The explosion is massive, wiping out the opposition in 41 seconds of pure dominance. Randolph tells Isabella that she is officially liberated, offering her a chance to go home, but we all know she isn't going anywhere after seeing that display. Isabella pledges her loyalty for real this time, choosing to stay by his side forever.
Randolph smiles and uses his star power to nullify the curse that was holding her back, unlocking her true potential before they warp away from the desert.
They land in Arcana, the Golden City, and it is the most extravagant place you have ever seen. It is a city where money talks and poor people walk, and the system basically tells Randolph that if he isn't a billionaire, he shouldn't even bother entering the nice districts.
Isabella tries to flex her life savings of 300 gold coins, thinking she is rich enough to buy a small army.
Randolph has to humble her real quick, explaining that in this city, her fortune wouldn't even pay for a single night in a decent hotel.
When she starts panicking about their lack of funds, Randolph points toward a massive casino with a smirk.
He tells her that money is just lying around waiting to be picked up, looking like a high roller who already knows the house is going to lose. RMC activating his hidden trait, Blessing of Gold. It is officially time to rob the rich and get filthy wealthy, and with a cheat code like that, the Golden City's casino is about to go bankrupt by morning. Welcome to Arcana, the legendary city of pleasures where your bank account is your only personality trait. In this place, money is the literal law, and if you are broke, you are basically a ghost.
The heart of all this greed is the Hudson Casino, but do not think you can just walk in.
The bouncer is a total snob who demands a 10,000 gold deposit just to let you breathe the indoor air. Our duo looks like they just crawled out of a dumpster, so the wealthy patrons in line start roasting them immediately. The bouncer basically tells them to stop wasting everyone's time and scram. Randolph is not about to let some suit-wearing NPC disrespect him like that. He pulls out a legendary item called the Fairy Queen's Tear, an immortal-grade treasure that makes the entire area glow. The bouncer goes from arrogant jerk to professional bootlicker in 3 seconds flat. He starts stuttering about VIP treatment while the crowd watches our boy walk in like he owns the place. This shiny rock is worth at least 1 million gold because it lets gear break past limit restrictions. Randolph is basically using a nuke as collateral just to get a seat at the table. Once he is at the roulette table, it is game over for the house. He activates his Blessing of Gold trait, which is a literal cheat code that makes losing mathematically impossible. RMC turns a tiny stack of gold into a staggering 1.4 million while the dealer looks like he is about to have a heart attack. Every other gambler is just copying his bets and draining the chips. The management finally grows a spine and bans him for life because he is single-handedly bankrupting the joint. Randolph does not even blink, he just demands a meeting with the big boss. He knows their staff is using the hand of observation skill to check his collateral. He is not just a gambler, he is a high-level threat who just dropped a bomb in their vault.
The staff realizes that getting a Fairy Queen's Tear requires killing an elite knight that even 3 level 10 players would struggle to touch.
This is not just loot, it is a miracle. Sir Hudson, the casino owner and local power player, is finally intrigued. He invites Randolph for some high-stakes tea, probably hoping to scam him out of that legendary talisman. Hudson tries to play it cool and offers a generous 2 million gold for the item.
He thinks he is dealing with a lucky peasant, but he is about to get a reality check.
Randolph counters by demanding 20 million gold. He looks Hudson dead in the eye and tells him he knows exactly why this specific item is worth every single penny to him. The secret is out, Hudson is a merchant with trash combat stats who needs the tier to bypass requirements and reach level 10. Without it, he can never join the elite city council. Hudson is desperate for political power so he can finally be acknowledged by the family of his fiancée, a badass knight named Serengeti. Talk about a simp with a plan. Randolph gets a sudden flashback to his life as Wilhelm. He remembers Serengeti not as some random NPC, but as the brave warrior who sacrificed her legs to save his life.
Back then, he thought it was just a dramatic game event, but now he realizes these NPCs might actually be players who have fully assimilated into this twisted world. He realizes Hudson has been here much longer than him.
To get the full story, Randolph puts on his Star Bearer persona and demands Hudson tell him the truth about his life.
This is a dangerous game because of the hunters. These are specialized NPCs who hunt down players, calling them criminals and executing them the moment they are discovered. In this world, revealing your identity is basically a suicide note. Most players hide like rats, but Randolph is built different and forces Hudson to choose between his secret and his goal. Hudson agrees to speak, but he drops a lore bomb that breaks Randolph's brain. He claims the Great Expedition was led by 8 heroes, which totally contradicts Randolph's memory. Randolph remembers leading the mission alone, but Hudson insists there was infighting among the 8 legendary figures. Someone has clearly been messing with the game's history. Hudson names a hero named Gracia as the strongest after Wilhelm.
While they talk in the shadows of Arcana, the real world is currently losing its mind over a monster rider in Seoul.
In the real world, a blonde powerhouse sees the news footage of the giant mantis rider.
She realizes her old captain might be alive and prepares to hunt him down for a reunion.
The stakes just went from gambling for gold to an international manhunt. Randolph is stuck between glitched memories and a casino owner who knows too much. The government wants Gracia to stay in the US, but she is already planning her flight to Korea. She has a feeling this mystery man is the friend she has been searching for.
As Hudson begins his story, Randolph realizes that everything he knew about the game was a lie.
The real war is just beginning, and the players are finally coming out of hiding. Imagine being a living legend and finding out the history books turned your life story into a group project.
RMC is losing his mind because this NPC Hudson claims 8 heroes led the expedition, while he remembers doing all the heavy lifting as Wilhelm.
Apparently, the new lore says these 8 heroes failed because of internal infighting.
Our boy is standing there thinking, what kind of fanfiction is this?
It is official, the history of this world is a bigger mess than a toxic relationship. Fast forward to the real world, and RMC looks like he survived a 3-day gaming binge without a shower. He is exhausted after pulling an all-nighter just to figure out why everyone is lying about his past life. He is currently on a date with Kim Hannah, the reporter he saved from a stalker. She is treating him to a fancy meal, and he is trying to act normal while his brain is stuck in Pangenia mode. Talk about a high-stress lunch. Hannah is actually being sweet, calling him brave for taking down her stalker. But the cozy vibes get nuked when she notices a woman at the back table giving them the death stare. Enter the ex-girlfriend drama we did not ask for. It is Seoyeon, the MC's ex, and she is with a new guy who looks like he spends more on hair gel than common sense. RMC tries to be the bigger person and tells Hannah to just ignore the awkwardness, but we all know that never works. This new boyfriend, Jinwoo, is a total red flag. He is already checking Seoyeon's social media and acting like a jealous detective. Honestly, these two deserve each other if this is how they spend their dinner dates. The piece lasts about 5 seconds before Jinwoo stomps over to their table. He starts barking about how the MC is a stalker who begged Seoyeon to come back. The level of delusion is actually impressive. Someone get this man a trophy for most creative liar. Jinwoo is really out here trying to play the alpha male, calling RMC a shameless bastard. He is leaning in, acting all tough, while Seoyeon just sits there watching the circus. This guy has no idea he is barking at a literal war god. Then Jinwoo turns his tiny brain toward Hannah and asks if she is a rental girlfriend. He even tries to guess her hourly rate. I am sorry, but did this man just insult a professional reporter while looking like a bargain bin villain? Hannah is not having it. She stands up and roasts him, explaining she is the one paying for the meal because the MC actually helped her. But Jinwoo is a special kind of stupid and doubles down on his garbage attitude. This clown actually throws a stack of cash on the table like he is in a bad K-drama. He calls them filthy trash and tells them to move. At this point, I am praying for RMC to finally choose violence because the cringe is becoming lethal. Ask and you shall receive. RMC finally loses his patience and delivers a slap that probably reset Jinwoo's factory settings. He tells the brat to grit his teeth because the adult conversation is officially over. Jinwoo tries to swing back, but our boy catches his arm like he is handling a toddler.
The look of pure terror on Jinwoo's face when he realizes he cannot move is the highlight of my week.
That is the power of a real monarch, sweetie. Embarrassed in front of his girl, Jinwoo decides to go full anime. He activates his transformation, revealing himself as a Dimension Warrior.
The restaurant patrons are losing it, thinking they are about to see a real superhero in action. Jinwoo is a level 4 spearman, which he thinks makes him a god.
RMC just activates his great sage trait and looks at him like a bug. He is literally analyzing the guy's stats while Jinwoo is busy flexing his budget armor. Time for a quick lesson on the Pangenia system. While players with many talents grow strong but level up slowly, simpletons like Jinwoo level up fast because they have zero depth. He is basically a high-level character with a starter pack brain. It turns out Jinwoo is a total fraud. He got level 4 by running away from every fight and getting lucky with a high-tier class. He retired the moment he could log out just so he could flex on normal people in the real world. Jinwoo finally drags Seoyeon away, giving one last pathetic warning to the MC. Our boy just sighs because he knows Jinwoo is wasting his synchronization time on ego trips instead of preparing for the literal apocalypse. Suddenly, the ground starts shaking like a tectonic plate just had a midlife crisis. It is a corrosion event. The MC knows that vibe anywhere, the monsters are officially crashing the party and they did not bring appetizers. Small scavenger monsters called cheedworms start bursting through the floor.
They look like giant, angry vacuum tubes with teeth.
Most people are screaming, but our MC stays calm because he knows these things are just bottom feeders.
Jinwoo sees this as his hero moment. He ignores the MC's warning and starts hacking at the worms to impress the crowd. He is out here acting like he is saving the world when he is basically just killing the local trash collectors. He manages to kill a few and gets a massive ego boost.
He starts laughing, thinking these monsters are a joke.
Little does he know, killing the babies is the fastest way to summon the very angry mother who is waiting in the wings.
The MC grabs Hannah and tells her to get as far away as possible. He can sense something massive coming. The air gets heavy, and the atmosphere shifts from a minor pest problem to a full-blown survival horror movie. A thick, red fog rolls in, swallowing the entire restaurant.
Nobody can see a thing, and the silence is more terrifying than the screaming.
This is not just a random monster spawn, this is a scripted nightmare. A voice echoes through the mist, asking who dared to kill its children. The chills are real, guys.
Even Jinwoo is starting to realize that his shiny armor might not be enough to save him from what is lurking in the dark.
The system drops a bombshell. An elite monster, the Cheed Mamba, has appeared. This thing is a level 6 threat that usually requires a party of 20 high-level players. And here we have one lucky coward and a very tired MC. The Mamba looms over Jinwoo like a shadow of death. The recommended raid size is flashing on the screen, and it is safe to say Jinwoo is about to find out that reality hits much harder than a video game. The monster looks absolutely demonic, and the fog makes it impossible to escape. Everyone is trapped in this death zone, and our MC is the only one who actually knows how to fight a beast of this caliber. Jinwoo is frozen in place, his bravado completely evaporated.
He thought he was the main character, but now he is just the first course on the menu.
This is what happens when you skip the tutorial and try to fight the boss. The Mamba is not just big, it is fast and intelligent. It is hunting them down one by one in the fog. The MC prepares himself because he is the only one standing between these civilians and a very messy ending. As the monster lunges, the MC's instincts kick in. He is not just some guy at a restaurant anymore, he is the monarch who led the great expedition. The real fight is about to begin, and it is going to be legendary. Jinwoo tries to make a move, but he is shaking so hard his spear is practically a vibrator. He is realizing that all his luck has finally run out.
You can almost hear the MC thinking, move aside, let a professional handle this.
The fog thickens even more as the Mamba prepares its final strike. The tension is so high you could cut it with a sword.
It is time for our MC to show the world why his name was once feared across entire dimensions.
Hannah is watching in awe as the MC stands his ground while everyone else is cowering. She is finally seeing the man behind the mystery, and he is way more terrifying than any monster. The era of the fake heroes is over. The Mamba lets out a roar that shatters the remaining windows. It is go time. Our MC steps forward, and you just know that this overgrown snake is about to regret every life choice it ever made. The system notification is the last thing we see as the MC readies himself. Level 6 versus the Hidden Monarch. Place your bets now, because this restaurant is about to become a graveyard for anything that is not our boy. The atmosphere turns into a literal nightmare as the level 6 elite monster, Cheed Mamba, crawls out of the hellscape to avenge its kids. Imagine being a parent and your first instinct is to murder a whole restaurant. Total psycho behavior.
The system is basically screaming at our guy to run because this thing usually takes 20 pros to kill.
But since he is the main character, common sense is clearly optional today.
Everyone else is busy having a bad trip, because the worm blood is triggering mass hallucinations.
It is a mental fog so thick you could cut it with a knife, and the bystanders are failing the vibe check hard.
Hyunmyeong realizes that if he does not stop being a spectator, everyone is going to end up as monster snacks.
He decides it is time to stop hiding and start carrying before the body count starts rising. Using the thick environmental fog as the perfect "don't look at me" cover, he flips the switch and transforms into his legendary avatar, Randolph.
Goodbye Average Joe, hello Absolute Unit ready to wreck some shop.
Even with the legendary power-up, he remains sharp and focused. He knows this boss is a total beast and acknowledges that even with his current buffs, one wrong move could turn him into minced meat. He starts dancing around the monster strikes like it is a rhythm game on easy mode.
He is utilizing his game knowledge to predict every single move before the monster even thinks about it.
The Chied Mamba is growing increasingly frustrated because this human is moving with physical abilities that should be impossible for his level. It is like trying to swat a fly that can see the future.
With expert timing, he evades the lethal blood spatter ability.
He knows that even a single drop of that nasty liquid would inflict a debilitating status ailment and ruin his whole day. Realizing he needs even more juice to end this quickly, he accesses his inventory like he is shopping for a miracle. He pulls out the legendary Fairy Queen's Tear because it is time to bypass the level cap. He successfully equips the epic grade Hermes' shoes. These are not just fancy footwear, they allow him to tap into the speed of the gods and move as fast as the wind itself. He does not stop there and layers on the Michaela's armor and helmet. This triggers the powerful Celestial Dragonborn set bonus, making him look like a walking raid boss himself. The Fairy Queen's Tear proves its worth by reducing the high stat requirements of his gear by 20%. It is the ultimate cheat code that makes this legendary loadout viable at his low level. The Chied Mamba lashes out with its final skill pattern, attempting to drown the entire area in a thick cloud of poisonous fog. It is a desperate move from a boss that is clearly out of options. Hyunmyeong counters the stinky cloud by triggering a massive gale. It is a synergy effect between his swiftness and said options that literally blows the poison away like it is yesterday's trash.
He has already identified the monster's 4 distinct patterns: dodge, blood spatter, needles, and fog.
He is just waiting for the precise moment this predictable cycle finally ends.
As the monster enters a brief state of total confusion and becomes unable to act, Hyunmyeong realizes this is his only window to secure a victory.
The giant worm is officially a sitting duck. Fulfilling his earlier promise, he leaps through the air with zero chill. He drives his blade directly through the center of the Chied Mamba's forehead, ending the battle and proving he is the true apex predator here. Imagine sweating your life out against a boss just for some guy to show up and take a 100% contribution score. Our boy Randolph just absolutely deleted the elite monster Chied Mamba, and while the fog clears, he is already busy absorbing the loot. The system is not playing around today, showing a 9.1% countdown to the total collapse of the world. Amidst the chaos, he snags a mysterious item called Lucky Dice, because apparently, being a god-tier gamer requires a little bit of gambling luck too. Just as the smoke settles, a woman recognizes him from a previous rescue and tries to corner him for answers. But Randolph is not here for the fan meetings or the potential romance subplot. He has got places to be and monsters to delete. Before she can even get a word out, he hits the invisibility cloak and vanishes like my father going to buy milk. Talk about a cold exit, leaving the poor girl staring at thin air while the system confirms his stealth is basically a cheat code. She is left looking absolutely bamboozled while he slips away into the shadows. You have to love a protagonist who prioritizes efficiency over explaining himself to every NPC that crosses his path. Enter Hyunmyeong, who is pulling the ultimate Clark Kent move by reuniting with Kim Hana and acting like he was just another scared civilian. He claims he got separated in the chaos, putting on his best innocent face while hiding the fact that he just soloed a literal nightmare.
Hannah is relieved, but she is not stupid, noticing that something is definitely off with her supposedly average friend.
Hyunmyeong is playing it cool, but the tension is thick enough to cut with a legendary sword.
Pro tip for secret heroes: maybe wash the monster blood off your nails before trying to act like a helpless civilian.
He tries to play it off as a minor accident, but the blood under his fingernails is screaming that he was busy doing something much more violent than running away.
Hannah is dropping major skepticism points because this man was way too composed while everyone else was losing their minds.
He tries to gaslight her by saying he was actually terrified, but his poker face is failing harder than a level 1 player in a high-ranked dungeon.
The suspicious vibes are reaching a breaking point as she stares him down, wondering if her friend is actually a secret monster-slaying psycho.
You can practically see the gears turning in her head while he tries to maintain his fraud civilian persona.
She realizes he showed up right after the mysterious hero disappeared, and the math is finally starting to add up.
Meanwhile, the world is moving on to a much darker tomorrow as the streets go completely silent. By the next day, the Second Dimension War has turned the city into a ghost town.
People are finally realizing that the boundary between reality and the game is leaking like a cheap faucet, and everyone is rightfully losing their collective minds.
The government is getting absolutely roasted in the news for trying to downplay the damage and acting like everything is under control.
Citizens are calling out their complacency, because saying there will not be another tragedy does not really work when monsters are literally eating the neighbors.
In a room full of suits, we see the elite players realizing that common sense has officially left the building. They know the government was just trying to maintain a fake sense of normalcy while the world was burning around them. Enter Park Tae-woo, the leader of the Hero Alliance, who sees this disaster as the perfect branding opportunity. He is launching his alliance now because nothing says trust me like a powerful guy in a blue shirt during a literal apocalypse. These guys are professional stalkers, reviewing CCTV footage and suspecting that our boy Randolph is actually the top-ranked player.
They are losing their minds over how a low-level player is rocking Hermes' shoes, speculating that he must be using some high-tier talismans to cheat the system. The conspiracy theories are flying as they wonder if Randolph is actually the legendary player Phantom who went MIA years ago.
They have decided that recruiting him is not just an option, it is a survival requirement if they want to stop the coming rift from ending reality. Tae-woo is looking intense, knowing that they have to bring this guy over at any cost. The stakes are rising and the shadows of the past are starting to overlap with the chaos of the present. Back in the game world, Mustache Man Hudson is having a literal meltdown because Randolph used the rare Fairy Queen's tear.
He thought he was going to get that item as a shortcut, but Randolph just used it like it was a regular health potion.
Randolph basically tells him to sit down and be humble, explaining that he destroyed the item just to kill Hudson's pointless hope. Talk about a savage move, he is literally taking away the man's shortcuts to force him to actually get good. Hudson is fuming with distrust, but Randolph just gives him that signature "I am better than you" smirk. He tells the mustache simp to follow him if he wants a real reason to trust him, leading the group into the literal sewers. Why the sewers? Because apparently, nothing builds trust like a field trip through the grimy underground of Arcana. Randolph is on a mission to wash away doubts by showing them what real danger looks like. They arrive at the Arcana sewer dungeon, and the atmosphere is as disgusting as you would imagine. Randolph is playing the long game, planning to register a waypoint while they are down there. He pulls out the epic teleport book he got from Dramit, complaining that raising exploration rates is a chore. He is basically speedrunning the city's map because they are running out of time, and the sewers are the first stop on his tour of destruction. Isabella is rightfully terrified, pointing out that this dungeon is meant for a party of 6 level 8 players, not a trio of misfits. She mentions the monster rat boss, and you can tell she is already imagining her own funeral. Randolph just hits her with a cold "I know" while the boss music starts playing. Suddenly, 2 glowing red eyes appear in the dark, and you know things are about to get extremely messy. The system sounds the alarm as the sewer's mutant monster rat spawns, looking like a nightmare fueled by toxic waste. It is a high-speed predator that usually requires a full tactical squad, but our boy is just standing there unbothered. The rat is a blur of motion, attacking with speed that would make a ninja jealous. Normally, you would need a complex formation to corner this thing, but Randolph decides that standard methods are for losers and simps. He admits they have no preparation at all, which is a wild thing to say while a giant rat is trying to bite your head off.
Hudson is losing his mind over the recklessness, but Randolph is already 5 steps ahead in the mental chess game.
Randolph starts barking orders like a drill sergeant, telling Isabella to move to the 10 o'clock position. He is betting everything on the fact that her combat proficiency is already light years ahead of any ordinary character. Isabella moves like a bolt of lightning, proving that her training was not just for show. She is tracking a beast that most players cannot even see, turning the high-speed raid into a display of pure elite skill. Randolph drops the ultimate flex, stating that speed does not matter if you already know the pattern. He is standing there looking like a boss while Isabella carries out his tactical masterclass with terrifying precision. Hudson is standing there with his jaw on the floor, watching his reality get shattered by Randolph's competence. The protagonist turns around and promises that his word is absolute, and if he says it can be done, the victory is already in the bag. He stares down the terrified mustache man, making it clear that doubting him is a waste of energy. The chapter closes with a look of pure, unadulterated confidence that says, I am the main character, and you are just lucky to be in the frame. You know it is a bad day when the Hero Alliance is checking CCTV like their lives depend on it and coming up with zero trace of our mysterious warrior. Xian Zhang is out here scratching his head, calling this whole situation a straight-up ghost story. Remember Young Jinwoo? Yeah, the Alliance checked on him and the poor guy has completely lost it. After getting both his arms sliced off, his brain just checked out of reality. Going back to question him now is just a massive waste of time. The leadership wants to poke around and ask reporter Kim Hannah for the tea, but they are warned to back off immediately. Why? Because she is being protected by Gracia, and you do not want to mess with that man's property or his interests. Speak of the devil, Gracia makes his grand entrance in Korea looking like the ultimate main character.
With Phantom out of the picture, this guy is the undisputed strongest player in the world, and everyone is losing their minds over it.
Gracia is actually here for a direct one-on-one interview with Kim Hannah.
The Alliance members are literally whispering in the shadows, wondering if this monster of a player fell for her at first sight, or if there is something more scandalous going on.
The Hero Alliance might be a big deal to normal people, but they know the truth.
Gracia is a literal monster who could crush their entire organization like a grape if they so much as breathe in his direction the wrong way. Meanwhile, in the dark corners of reality, we meet a total psycho named Massacre. This edgy bait is out here engaging in forbidden player killing like he is playing a sandbox game with no rules.
When his victims cry about how player killing is banned in the real world by Gracia's orders, Massacre just laughs.
He thinks rules are for the weak and he is definitely not planning on following any of them.
This absolute lunatic just wants to see people suffer. He is literally telling his victims to pray for Gracia to save them while he carves them up. Talk about having zero chill and a massive god complex. After his little murder spree, Massacre's rankings get a spicy update. He officially acquires the rights to the secret auction house, which is basically a VIP pass for the most dangerous players in the game. Now Massacre has a new obsession, a player named Randolph.
He is 100% convinced that Randolph is actually the legendary Phantom in disguise, and he is not going to stop until he proves it with blood.
The stalker vibes are off the charts here. Massacre vows to wait for Randolph at a specific location, promising that our boy is going to die by his hands. This guy is the definition of a walking red flag. Back in the game world, Randolph is busy dealing with actual monsters instead of edgy players. He is out here looking lucky after a massive battle that left the ground looking like a disaster zone. Randolph manages to snag a mutant monster rat core. It is a rare material that literally causes mutations when you feed it to beasts. Most players would sell their soul for a drop like this, but for him, it is just Tuesday. The system is basically simping for him at this point, rewarding him with a hidden trait called Beast Lord. This allows him to strengthen any beast-type souls he has, which is basically a cheat code for building a monster army. Hudson is also here, and he is the ultimate loyal subordinate. He actually closed up shop at his casino just to follow Randolph. He is trading a life of luxury for a life of danger just because he trusts the Star Bearer that much. Hudson's real goal? He wants to marry a girl named Serengeti. He is convinced that following Randolph is the only way to make that happen. If that is not high-tier simping, I do not know what is. Even though Isabella is a total combat beast who can solo monster rats, Hudson is more impressed by Randolph's omniscient nature. The way our boy makes decisions makes it look like he has already read the script of life. Randolph leads the squad toward the Barak forest. He explains that this is the gateway to the Tower of Spirits and the official starting point for the third main quest. Time to level up or die trying, I guess.
The forest is not your average camping spot.
It houses the spirit tree, which has the power to open a secret path to the spirit realm during dusk. It is basically a magical elevator, but way more dangerous. As they walk deeper, Randolph notices something depressing. The entire forest is literally dying. It is like the life force has been sucked out of the place, leaving everything looking gray and withered. Our boy points out that the spirit tree has been dead for a long time. Now new spirits are being born, which means the forest is basically on life support and the plug is about to be pulled. Instead of mourning the tree, Randolph decides to use some aggressive motivation. He draws his sword and prepares to do something that would make an environmentalist faint. He straight up chops down the dead spirit tree.
His companions are absolutely floored, thinking he has finally lost his mind.
You do not just go around cutting down sacred entrance gates for fun. The sound of the tree falling echoes through the woods like a dinner bell for disaster. Hudson and Isabella are standing there like, did he really just do that, while waiting for the inevitable consequences? Randolph is just standing there with a smirk. He did not do it because he hates nature, he did it to force the forest guardians to stop hiding and show their faces. Talk about a loud knock on the door. Right on cue, the boss music starts. The master of Barak Forest, a level 9 high dryad, appears and he looks absolutely livid that some human just turned his sacred tree into firewood. And he did not come alone. At least 50 level 7 dryads surround the group, aiming their bows and looking ready to turn our team into a human pincushion for their disrespect. Isabella is a real one, though. She steps up and prepares to hold off the entire horde by herself just so Randolph can escape. She is ready to go out in a blaze of glory for her boss. The High Dryad is looking down at them like they are mere insects. He cannot believe a bunch of low-level humans had the audacity to harm the spirit tree. The killing intent in the air is thick enough to cut. Randolph does not even flinch. He looks the High Dryad in the eye and offers a deal. He will bring the dying forest back to life if they just open the gate to the tower. The audacity of this man is truly unmatched. The Dryad is skeptical as hell. He points out that the Tower of Spirits is a legendary location that only a tiny handful of elite players have ever entered.
He thinks Randolph is just a delusional wretch.
The odds of entering that tower are worse than winning the lottery while being struck by lightning. You need insane talent and a mountain of completed quests just to stand a chance at the entrance.
But Randolph is not your average player.
He tells the Dryad to shut up and open the gate already. He is done talking and ready to show why he is the one the system is obsessed with. Suddenly, Randolph activates his hidden trait, Druid's Nature Affinity. A massive wave of green energy explodes from him, proving that he is not just bluffing about his connection to the forest. The Dryads are stunned into silence as the life force begins to swirl around our boy. He takes full responsibility for saving the forest, looking like a literal god of nature in the middle of a dying wasteland. Even with his low level, the sheer power of his hidden trait is undeniable.
He is breaking all the rules of the game just to get what he wants, and the forest guardians are starting to realize they messed with the wrong guy.
Randolph standing tall in a whirlwind of green light, demanding entry to the tower. He is about to walk into a place only legends go, and he is doing it with the swagger of a man who owns the whole game.